Hi everyone. I'm coming back slowly but surely. I just post a continuation for our story as I continue um, sharing more. This video is more practical. I want to keep giving you insights and tips. And I am back to work from Monday. So those arrangements we have for my services and consultations and all of that, they are on. So if you need my help, feel free to request. And those people that were on my schedule, I want you to know I'm gonna be there. And I appreciate those of you who understood that I needed to take time off. So today's topic is about helping. Today's topic is about how do you support your Ukrainian lady at hard times. I guess that could be support. It could be a universal video in terms of how do you support a woman in a hard time. But I am operating with Slavic mentality right now. I'm operating with our mindset, and therefore that's a somewhat specific, but it could be universal. One of the things about American culture, a lot of times people offer you help and they are very genuine, but it doesn't feel right to call them back and say, hey, you told me that if I need anything to call you. How many times people that really need help, that maybe lost somebody, maybe their house burned down, maybe they had some major issue, how many times they really called you back and told you, hey, I need that something, could you help? So in Ukrainian and Russian culture, it's even worse, if I can say. So what we do is, when we know that somebody is facing a major challenge, usually we get together as community, or individually we just help. Like, for example, in Russian and Ukrainian culture, we bring money in the envelopes for the wedding or for the funeral. If somebody lost somebody, that's what we do, because we understand that our amount of empathy is great, but we also understand there's going to be a lot of challenges, and people just want to help. And it's not about the amount, it's about the intention. Some people, it's not, you never be judged on how little or how big it was. Another thing, it's your decision. Nobody would ever ask you, hey, I had this happen to me, so please do this, and I don't accept anything, below $100 bill. So if something like that happens, that's fishy, and this is wrong. You only should help and support your lady if you feel that she is a genuine person, if she means something to you, and if you're not afraid that she'll never pay you back. Because if you want somebody to pay you back, you have to tell that. And please do not take relationships as a buy and sell, as a buy and sell market. It's really horrible when this happens. If somebody does not love you, does not appreciate you, they're not gonna love you if you make them gifts, or if you do something for them. That's one thing. Another thing is this: when I was a little girl, I was trying to be helpful when something was going on in the house, but I couldn't figure out what to do. And my dad asked me and told me that this is my job to figure out what needs to be done. At first, I felt like, wow, this is really cruel. I mean, I don't know what to do. But then I realized that he was completely right. If you want to help somebody, if especially if it's a man and man and a woman or close friends, you know what they need. Maybe you have a close friend who just had a baby, and you wanna deliver dinner to the door, or maybe you wanna come over and make a dinner. Maybe you can help them to move the grass. It's those little things. I don't want anybody to get me wrong. It's those little things that you can do for somebody when they need help. Because once again, if you want to connect with Russian and Ukrainian women, they understand action. It's very, very true. If you watched my interview with Katya and Bronson, if he would be just telling her, "Oh, you are so pretty," "You are so pretty. Oh my gosh, you are so sweet," she wouldn't take him seriously. We do fall in love with men's action. It's very true. And, in our culture, manhood is highly appreciated, and it's we're not competing. We on the receiving end. And in our culture, men who are providers and supporters, they don't ask us, they just do what they're supposed to do. And that's why we love our men, and that's why we appreciate our men, and that's why we never be feminist, like the third wave of feminists. We'll never be that, because we need our men. Life is not that fun without love and support and that passion that drives men to be protectors and providers. So, coming back to the practical tip, I had a client just before these unfortunate events had happened in my life. I had a client who reached out to me, and he was really confused. Not gonna go into much details, but he was about to meet with a Ukrainian lady somewhere else. He knows that lady. That lady has a heart of gold, and she's a beautiful person. And they knew each other before, and it was a very important and wonderful thing that they were both looking for. Some Ukrainian women have a lot of pride, so she would not let him book. She would not let him book the hotel for her, so to speak. And they were meeting in another country, and it's only would make sense if they would stay in one hotel, so they only had the 3 or 4 days. You don't want to lose time communicating, going back and forth. You want to be with that person. You want to enjoy every single second. You know how it is. Every minute count when you are with the right person. And so he called me for an advice, and I just told him, listen, do not ask her, hey, don't do this, blah, blah, blah. Just tell her, listen, I booked a separate room in that hotel. Please stay there. That's all. Ukrainian woman that truly cares about you and that has pride, sometimes she would be shy. She would be shy to ask you to do those things. You know why? Because she cares about you, and she doesn't want you to think that she's trying to use you in some sort of way. She's real sensitive, and she cares about your feelings. She doesn't want you to think that she is with you because you're gonna buy her something. And I think this is so important to understand. When you have real connection, don't turn it into buy and sell. Understand what's behind it. And so I was very I didn't have much doubts. I just told her, listen, she's trying to do it herself, to book her hotel. But the truth is, deep inside of her, she really wants you to do that. She really wants you to do that. But she would never ask. She would never ask. And this is for you, always to evaluate, how much you trust that person, and also how much joy that would bring if you do something, if you initiate. And remember, she's also observing you as a man that takes decisions and take care of things. So she would be like, this guy does not need to be told, number one. And number two, he's generous and he's supportive, and he's a real gentleman, because he didn't say, oh, well, maybe we can just both stay in one room. When it comes to traveling, guys, I want to tell you, please give the other person a separate room. Even if you end up enjoying yourself, in one room under the stars, making love, that's wonderful. But when the woman does not have that pressure, when she also knows that she can come to her room and rest and kind of get her comfort because it's really intense. It's too much going on. You know, whether you have intimate relationships or not, it's a lot going on. And very important thing is, guys, I'm sorry, but 95% of you are snoring. And so if you have this amazing romantic evening, maybe you were, you know, making love together, whatever, but then you fall asleep and you snore like a wild animal, guess how she gonna feel in the morning? She gonna hate every single thing about you. Well, I am exaggerating, but giving another person space, let them to come to you on their terms, let them feel comfortable, and most likely for the first meeting, they there might be inappropriate to, she might not be ready. If that is the right woman, you should never rush her. You should never push her, because if she's the right one, the the longer you take to get to know each other and feel comfortable, and it's just going to be so beautiful. There's going to be no pressure, it's going to be no awkward moments, things just going to happen and unfold naturally. And you want that, you want that to happen. You don't want to well, I'm just trying to save a couple dollars, so let's just stay together. I promise I will not gonna touch you. This is just for kindergarten. So that is just my reflection on a consultation I had with one of my clients. He was truly meeting a woman with a heart of gold. I know his story. I'm waiting for him to go back to me and share how things had unfolded for him. And if he lets me, I will share his story if he lets me. But this is just the general thing that, guys, if you want to help somebody, follow my dad's advice. You gotta know, you gotta figure out what that person need and what you can genuinely afford and be happy to do. You know, if you know somebody just, you know, lost their home. I had a friend who all of a sudden her house was burned down. And you know, we could have all came together in the Russian community and say, oh my God, you know, let us, if you need something, just like call me. It's just such a BS. We all know what people need. A lot of times they either need our service to help something, or they need financial help because something fell apart. And for them to get back on their feet, if you can't help, you can unite with others, or you can just do yourself. You know, you just can do something yourself from your heart. Never do something you will regret or you afraid a return on. So with my friend, we just called each other and we came back with a envelope with some cash. You know, everybody contributed how much they could. And by living in the US for so long, she said, oh my gosh, she said, I feel home again. Because people don't just tell you, well, you know, let me know if you need something. Even when people mean it, you probably, you know, even when people mean it, you're probably not gonna call them and say, hey, you know, I need a sofa. So that is what it is. When you love somebody, do it. Also had an experience. I had an old car, but I fixed it up before I got this newer vehicle I have right now. And I had a guy coming over who he bought a car for his friend. He knew that that was a girl that could not, she didn't have any money to get herself a car. He just got her a car. Yes, it was an expensive car. It was just a couple of thousand, you know, dollars, whatever. But instead of telling her, hey, you know, if you need something, just do what you can. If you feel that inner calling, by any meaning, I'm not trying to encourage you to get scammed, to get robbed, to get used by somebody. But if your heart opens up and you really want to help somebody, think first, you know, maybe this person could use some service, or you can help financially, and just try to put yourself in their place and ask them more questions if you don't know. But once again, in our culture, we usually just do it, however big or small that is. So that's all I want to say today, guys. I'm trying to get back to the videos. Thank you for being here. Oh, thank you, Hakeem. I appreciate it. And John, I'm so glad to hear this. It's so great to hear some feedback. John is saying, very true, Veronica. I've experienced similar to this too. Even she gets upset when I help her financially. I still help in many ways I'm able. In times I see how she appreciates it very much. Yes, the honest person, the true person who loves you and appreciates you, she's not with you because of that, but she does appreciate, because that is a form of protection. When somebody is looking out for you or helping you without you asking them, that's a form of care and protection. Sometimes when you're in long distance, you cannot do that. So the only thing you can do is, help them with the challenges they have. And of course you have to have trust by any meaning. Once again, I do not recommend anybody, supporting or helping financially to anyone who is, you know not a good person or somebody you don't know. But the main difference between American and Ukrainian is we actually just do it. And that's why, a lot of Russian and Ukrainian women kind of miss Russian men and, or, Ukrainian men. Along with some of their imperfections, this is one thing they would always do. They would always just step in and do the things they gotta do. James is saying, do you think women in the 40s and 50s in the US used to think there would be such feminists today in the US? No, I don't think they would think that it would be that bad. Inspiring words. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. I'm glad to bring you some more clarity, because I understand how it is confusing when you offer to help your special lady and she says no. Just between me and you, that no means nothing. She does want your help, but she doesn't want to hurt your feelings. She doesn't want you to think anything bad about her. But by supporting her, you give a very strong sense that you are there. Even if you're not there physically, you're gonna help and you're gonna protect. When I met my husband back in Ukraine, he wanted me to stop working. So he basically gave me like 6 months or so before I came to US. He was just helping me with some little things. He didn't want me to go to work anymore because it was no sense. He wanted me to spend time with my family, and that's what I did. But we had trust. We never had this thing. He never had a single thought that, oh my gosh, she's just gonna, take the money and run away. Even though he shared with somebody that he bought me a computer, it was 11 years ago. And so he told some of his co-workers that he got me a computer, and they were like, oh, you got you a computer. Oh my God, you're gonna get scammed. People will always judge from their perspectives. You have your own. Your life, things you do is your destiny. Your character is your destiny. Nobody can feel for you. Nobody can be inside of your skin. Nobody can know and feel that initial desire to help and support for somebody. So it's always your decision. But in our culture, once again, it's not about words. It's not about promises. You step in, you know what the person going through or what just happened or whatever. Maybe nothing happened. Maybe she's going through nothing, but you just want to brighten her day. Maybe you want to send her on vacation. Maybe you want to send her the biggest bouquet of flowers she ever received, and she's not going through any difficult times. Whatever you do it from your heart. And if you know the person, you know what they need. if you truly, if claiming that you love that person, you care about the person, you know what they need, so do it. For whatever you do, that coming from you going to mean 10 times 10 times more that it would come from other sources, because it's coming from you, from the person that she already considers special. Thank you.